Are you looking to start investing but don't know where to begin? With Trading 212, you can buy real stocks, ETFs, and even more, all from your phone. It's commission-free, beginner-friendly, and the perfect way to start your investing journey. Hit my link in the description down below to get started today, and you'll earn a free share worth between £10 and £100 for simply signing up. Hello and welcome back to the Geordie Pig Investor channel, where we dive deep into the world of dividend investing to help you build a portfolio that pays you. In today's video, I'll be going through all the stocks I have bought and sold in the month of August. This was another super action-packed month as I have lots of buys and sells within the portfolio. I feel my portfolio is aligning better with my personal goals and I'm really happy with the changes I've made. Anyways, let's get straight into it and see the stocks that I bought and sold in the month of August. First off, let's have a look at the stocks that I did sell for the month of August, and the first one was PepsiCo, stock ticker PEP. I sold 11 shares for a total amount of £1,192 and I did receive £26.64 in dividends while paying £1.79 in fees, so overall we had a realised loss at £67.75. I decided to sell the remaining shares I held in Pepsi and reallocate most of this capital into Bunzl because I see stronger long-term potential in Bunzl's business model. While Pepsi is a solid company with iconic brands, I feel its growth prospects are relatively mature and more dependent on consumer staple trends. Bunzl, on the other hand, operates in a defensive niche, providing essential distribution and outsourcing services across multiple industries, which gives it highly reliable cash flow and strong resilience in different market conditions. I know you could argue some similar points for Pepsi, but the difference is that Bunzl's current valuation seemed too good to pass up on, especially with the added UK dividend benefits. I have made a stock analysis video on my channel about Bunzl, so if you want some more in-depth reasoning, then please go check it out. The second stock I sold in the month of August was my JP Morgan Global Equity Premium ETF, and I sold 70 shares for a total amount of £1,372.08. I did receive £58.65 in dividends, so overall we did actually end up at a slight loss, losing £8.21. I decided to sell all of my shares within this ETF because I wanted to reallocate the capital into the JP Morgan Nasdaq Equity Premium ETF. I did this because I wanted more exposure to US tech and growth orientated companies while still benefiting from the income focused covered call strategy. The global version provided broad diversification, but I felt it diluted returns by holding slower growth international markets. By moving into the Nasdaq focused ETF, I can capture higher potential upside from innovation driven sectors like technology and biotech while maintaining attractive monthly income distributions. This reallocation aligns better with my conviction that US growth stocks will continue to lead over the long term, and I see it as a more effective way to combine income generation with capital appreciation potential. And now let's move on to the more exciting part where I show you all the stocks I bought for August. Starting off with my JP Morgan Global Growth and Income ETF, where I bought 190 shares for a total amount of £1,091.85, meaning my new position size is now £8,568.44, and I own a total of 1,525 shares. I also added 4 shares to my Vanguard S&P 500 ETF, which cost me a total amount of £360.22, bringing my new position size to £10,207, and I own 111 shares. The next stock I bought in August was the Income Shares Tesla ETP, where I added 40 shares for a total amount of £147.30. My new position size is now £621.76, and I own 160 shares of the stock. I then added 60 shares to my Income Shares Coinbase ETP, which cost me £194.06, and my new position size in this one is £575.82, and I now own 180 shares. The next stock that I bought was the one that I mentioned earlier because I ended up selling my JP Morgan Global Equity Premium ETF to fund this one, and that was the JP Morgan Nasdaq Equity Premium ETF, where I bought 55 shares for a total amount of £1,017.91. My new position size is now over £1,900 in this one, as I own 103 shares. We then bought Bunzl, which again I mentioned earlier because I sold out of my Pepsi position to reallocate some of that into this one, and I bought 31 shares for a total amount of £698.23. So my new position size is £908.64, and I have a total of 36 shares. We then added 50 shares to my B&M position for a total amount of £110.35, which now means my new position size is £2,764.60, and I have a total of 1,150 shares within this stock. The next stock that I added a small top up to was Greggs, where I added 5 shares for a total amount of £78.80. My new position size is now over £3,600, and this is my biggest individual holding within the portfolio. I own a total of 225 shares, and I had a small top up to both of these positions because I still have strong conviction in their long-term prospects, but I wanted to keep the additions modest to maintain balance in my portfolio. Last month I added a lot into these two positions, which gave me the core exposure I wanted, and this month's smaller top up was more about taking advantage of ongoing opportunities to build my positions without over concentrating too quickly. It also reflects my strategy of scaling into companies I believe in, reinforcing my confidence while still leaving flexibility for other investments. I then added 15 shares to my Safe Store Holdings position for a total amount of £96.35, bringing my new position size to £1,964.03. I now have a total of 315 shares within this one. And the final stock that I added to the portfolio for the month of August was Greencoat UK Wind, where I added 250 shares for a total amount of £285.30. My new position size within this one is now £2,403, and I own 2,250 shares. They pay a massive dividend yield of over 9%, so I'm very much looking forward to that next dividend payout. By topping up during the dip within these two companies, I was able to lower my average cost basis and strengthen my conviction in the two businesses I believe are well positioned for both stability and growth over the long run, whilst also receiving a fantastic dividend yield. As you can see, August was a really busy month for me. I invested over £4,000 while also selling just over £2,500 worth of stock. Most of the cash that I put to work came directly from my own contributions alongside the 2 sales I made. But a portion also came from reinvesting dividends I received during the month. If you'd like to know which stocks paid me dividends in August, I've already uploaded a video on that, so be sure to check it out on my channel. Looking ahead, my main focus is on strengthening and building up my current positions while keeping sales to a minimum. That said, there are still a couple of stocks in my portfolio I'd consider trimming if the right price comes along, as I know I've got a long time horizon and want to take advantage of opportunities when they present themselves. With that in mind, it's a good time to walk through my key objectives for 2025. In this part of the video, I want to share some key points about my investing strategy moving forward. It's a pretty simple approach, but I find it really useful to write down my goals and remind myself of them. And of course, goals can change over time, so it's always worth checking in to make sure you're still happy with what you originally set out to do. The first point for me is to consistently invest money every payday, essentially paying myself first by putting cash straight into my ISA. This way I get used to not even seeing that money as spendable. Just like my mortgage or water bill, I treat my ISA contribution as a fixed, non-negotiable payment. That mindset turns investing into a healthy habit and keeps me disciplined month after month. The next part of my strategy is to keep making consistent monthly contributions into my core ETFs. VUSA and JGGI. Over time, my goal is to build these up to around 40% of my overall portfolio. At the moment, they're sitting at just over 35%, which I'm already really pleased with. I've set this as one of my main objectives for 2025 because it helps me stay focused on the bigger picture. No matter what's going on in the markets or in the world for that matter, I want to keep steadily adding to my VUSA and JGGI positions and block out the noise. One of my biggest goals over the past 6 months was to trim down my portfolio to a maximum of 25 stocks and ETFs. After some careful consideration and reevaluation, I'm happy to say that I've now achieved that, with my portfolio sitting at 23 holdings. This feels like a big milestone for me because it's so easy to get carried away adding new positions, and while it might seem like a good idea at the time, in the long run it can become messy and difficult to manage properly. Now I feel my portfolio has a much clearer structure and every stock and ETF I hold has a defined purpose and objective behind it. Another key goal is to keep adding to my growth and income stocks wherever I see attractive buying opportunities. Now that my portfolio is at a size I feel comfortable managing, it's much easier to stay on top of every position. This means that if I believe a stock is undervalued and I have the capital available, I can confidently strengthen that holding. My approach is always to buy high quality companies at a discount where possible, as shown in today's video where I saw real value in Bunzl and added heavily to my position. And finally, I want to continue maintaining a healthy balance between growth and income stocks. At the moment, my portfolio offers a 5% dividend yield with a 5-year dividend growth rate of 7.6%, both of which are right in line with my targets. This is something I'll keep tracking closely to make sure it stays within my preferred range, and it also helps me hold myself accountable as I build for the long term. And that wraps up this month's buys and sells. If you found value in this breakdown, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more investing insights every month. Drop a comment if you made any interesting moves yourself. I'd love to hear what you've been buying or selling. Thanks for watching. Until next time, keep compounding and stay patient in the market because your future self will thank you. For now, this is the Geordie Pig Investor, over and out.